God's powerful word, John chapter 4. When words are many, their value is sometimes diminished. Some people are blessed with the gift of gab. They talk almost as much as they think, sometimes more. On the other hand, when words are few, their value is usually increased. My father was a man of few words. When he spoke, people listened because his words were filled with wit and wisdom. Jesus was a man of few words in comparison with the teachers of his day. Every word he spoke was filled with grace and truth. His words were filled with divine power and authority. Jesus traveled to Jerusalem for the celebration of the Passover feast, John 2:13. While in Jerusalem, he met with Nicodemus, John 3:1-21. Then he spent some time in the Judean countryside with his disciples, John 3:23. On his way back to Galilee, Jesus needed to go through Samaria, the province between Judea in the south and Galilee in the north, John 4:4-42. Finally, Jesus paid a return visit to Cana in Galilee, John 4:43. The Galileans welcomed Jesus back to their area. It was here that he had changed water into wine. This would also be the location of the second miraculous sign that John uses as part of his testimony about who Jesus is. At this point, John introduces his readers to a certain royal official whose son lay sick at Capernaum, John 4:46. Sickness is no respecter of persons. This man may have been a royal official, but that does not matter right now. His beloved son lay sick. This sickness was serious enough that he was not able to travel. He stayed in Capernaum while his father went to meet with Jesus. He invited Jesus to come to his house, verses 47 and 49. Consider what the official did. The official heard that Jesus had arrived in Galilee from Judea. He must have been waiting for Jesus to come back. We do not know how long his son had been sick, but Jesus had been traveling for a while. Other people from Cana had gone down to Jerusalem for the Passover too. They had seen Jesus cleanse the temple. They had even seen Jesus do other miraculous signs, John 2:23. When they got back, everyone was talking about Jesus. The official must have thought to himself, if Jesus healed those people in Jerusalem, maybe he could heal my son too. So the official went to Cana and begged for Jesus to follow him home and heal his son. His son was so sick that he was close to death. Consider what Jesus said. Unless you people see miraculous signs and wonders, Jesus told him, you will never believe, verse 48. Jesus knew the way those people were. They had heard about signs and wonders happening in Jerusalem. They wanted to see those signs and wonders in their area too. Jesus knew how skeptical people could be. He wanted them to believe in him. He was willing to show them his power. Consider what the official said. The royal official said, Sir, come down before my child dies, verse 49. By now, the official was anxious. He did not want his child to die before Jesus had a chance to get there. He urged Jesus to come before it was too late. Time was of the essence. He took Jesus at his word, verses 50-51. Consider what Jesus said. Jesus told the royal official that he could go home. He assured the official that his son would live. Jesus did not need to be on location at the official's home in order to heal his son. He had the authority to speak a word of healing from a great distance. In this case, it was about 16 miles away. Distance was not a barrier for Jesus. Consider what the official did. This man took Jesus at his word and departed, verse 49. What a statement of faith! This royal official knew what it was to believe. He took Jesus at his word. Are we willing to do what this man did? Louisa M.R. Stead wrote these words, "'Tis so sweet to trust in Jesus, just to take him at his word, just to rest upon his promise, just to know, thus saith the Lord." The royal official departed. Servants did. The servants knew how concerned their master was. While he was still on the way, his servants met him with the news that his boy was living. Verse 51. What wonderful news! He had taken Jesus at his word. Now he knew by his servant's testimony that his trust had not been misplaced. He discovered that Jesus had great timing. Verses 52 and 53. Consider what the royal official did. The royal official still had a question on his mind. He inquired as to the time when his son got better. Maybe his son would have recovered even if he had not gone to see Jesus. Knowing the time of his son's recovery could provide some assurance. He was told, the fever left him yesterday at the 7th hour. Verse 52. The Jewish day began at what we would call 6 in the morning. If we add 7 hours, we come up to what we would call 1 in the afternoon. The official realized that this was the exact time that Jesus had said, your son will live. Verse 53. There was no coincidence here. Jesus had performed a miracle by the power of his word. He believed in Jesus with his household. Verse 53. John added these words, so he and all his household believed. Belief was the response that Jesus had wanted to see. This man believed in Jesus. Can you imagine what happened when this royal official got home to Capernaum? His son a hug. This man must have shared his experience of meeting Jesus with his whole family. When his family heard what Jesus had said, and when he had said it, they also put their trust in him. Jesus concluded with a statement. This was the second miraculous sign that Jesus performed, having come from Judea to Galilee. Verse 54. He was not forgetting that Jesus performed miraculous signs in Jerusalem at the Passover. He was simply emphasizing the miraculous signs that Jesus did in his home area of Galilee. Jesus' power is not limited by distance. His power is released in a timely fashion. His power is stronger than any severe sickness. His spoken word has the power to heal. In fact, John began his gospel by referring to Jesus as the Word. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was with God in the beginning. Through him all things were made. Without him nothing was made that has been made. John 1, 1-3. John's purpose for recording this miraculous sign was that we would believe. Who did this miraculous sign point towards? The healing of the official's son pointed toward Jesus. Jesus is God's powerful word.